Good afternoon. My name is Dan Ligon, and I'm an independent researcher, the founder of Flicker Fusion Productions, and the author of Masonic Minds. It is common knowledge that the Knights Templar during the Second Crusade stayed on an area of what is known today as the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, Israel. At that time, it was the year 1120 AD, or the Common Era, up to 1125 AD, Common Era. This Temple Mount area was owned at the time by King Baldwin of Jerusalem, who allowed the Templars to stay there and made his home, what we know today as the Temple Mount, the headquarters of the Knights Templar during the Second Crusade. Additional associations with the Knights Templar and the area known today as the Temple Mount are also spoken of in Brent Morris's book, The Complete Idiot's Guide to Freemasonry. Brent Morris, 33rd degree Freemason and retired member of the House of the Temple in Washington, D.C., for the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry Southern Jurisdiction, states in his book on page 192, the legend in its simplest form is that the Templars during their stay in Jerusalem discovered secrets buried beneath King Solomon's temple. They carried these back to Europe with them when the Crusaders were forced out of the Holy Land. An additional reference by Brent Morris connecting Freemasonry with the Knights Templar with King Solomon's temple is located on page 228, where he says, many American Masonic halls have a flight of 3, 5, and 7 steps, either leading to the front door of the building or somewhere within. A Mason walking up such a flight of stairs is presented with a wealth of imagery as he symbolically advances up and into King Solomon's temple. A third reference by Brent Morris is also located on the same page when he states, Masonic legend has the middle chamber of King Solomon's temple used as a meeting place of the craftsmen during the construction of the temple. This is 3 references made by Brent Morris in his book, The Complete Idiot's Guide to Freemasonry, directly linking Freemasons to the Knights Templar and to King Solomon's temple. In the Holy Bible, there are 5 structures associated with the location in Jerusalem, Israel, with what we know today as the Temple Mount. These 5 structures include the moving tabernacle that Moses had before King Solomon's temple was originally built. It was basically a tent to house the Ark of the Covenant. The second structure is actually King Solomon's temple itself, which was rather a small building and used to house the Ark. The third temple was after the Jews returned from Babylon after their captivity in 70 AD, and the temple of Zerubbabel was built on the same location. The fourth structure associated with the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, Israel, was Herod's temple, and the fifth one is the Dome of the Rock, which currently stands at the present location today. The significance of this information is that if one were to look on page 410 of my book, Masonic Minds, you would see the second temple, Zerubbabel's temple, is 180 feet tall, also equivalent of 120 cubits, and also equivalent of 55 meters. This exact same height is equivalent to the temple number 3, located at Tikal, Guatemala, the Mayan capital city during the Classic period between 300 AD and 900 AD. The measurements of 180 feet, 120 cubits, and 55 meters are identical. These measurements of Zerubbabel's temple can be found in 2 Chronicles chapter 3 verse 4 and Ezra chapter 6 verses 15 through 16. The reason why I make reference to these measurements is because the exact same structure can be found pictured in an old Masonic Bible. This discovery was made by independent researcher and author William Henry in his book, Mary Magdalene, the Illuminator, the Woman Who Enlightened the Christ. With the knowledge that William Henry found in his book, combined with the references that are made in my book, Masonic Mayans, there is no doubt about it. The ancient Mayans existing in the Classic period and on into the late Classic period, as well as other Mesoamerican cultures, were definitely practicing the ancient craft that is today known as Freemasonry. If you would like to know more, please visit me at www.flickerfusionproductions.org.